Microphone. That's right, it's me, baby. I forgot to plug in the microphone. Hmm. I should stop doing that. Oh, she got a Santa hat. So I bought so many of those toys, so I hope that's how it works. Kind of like a New Leaf, you know? But somehow I get the feeling that it's not actually going to be like New Leaf at all. There he is. Toy Day. Oh. Behoove. Okay, so I have to make festive wrapping paper. I'm just gonna make 8 of these. Because, you know, go big or go home. Woohoo! Merry Christmas! Hi, Lauren. It's not Christmas for me yet. I got, 5 hours and 14 minutes. Ooh, I get stockings. How cute. A magic bag. Okay, well, first I want to go and put my stockings up, actually. I mean, you can just say, it doesn't matter. The exact timing. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Man, I really wish they didn't make all the jingle recipes, like, DIY. Because I only got the wall. Because they float in on balloons. I have... one. Soon it's gonna be time for the real spirit of Christmas, and that is, of course, entering houses uninvited. Seriously, we're lucky Santa's a good person, or else literally nobody would ever be able to stop him. Oh, she got me a Christmas. Oh. Oh, that's so sweet. A dinosaur. I like how she waves. She just like does both of her hands at once, and it's so cute. Yeah. Like, some people say he can shrink to get into keyholes. Yeah. He knows where you're gonna be, so he can take you out at any time. I don't know, if he drops the bag on it, then that's gonna snuff it out. Alright. That had some weird energy there. So I had that, like, dream writer's moment where you think of something and you have to, like, get up out of bed to write it down. Except mine was just on how to start the Piku Niku video. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, I did. It's on my phone's notepad app. But yeah, because I definitely would not have remembered. Like that. No. Also, guess what we're supposed to be getting for Christmas where I live? 3 to 5 inches of rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Because what else will we get this year? Interesting. I would also like to try lucid dreaming. I could finally kill. I mean, yeah. I mean, at least we already have snow on the ground right now. I'd like to be able to keep the bag. Whoa! He's got a sandwich! Oh, oh. But the coolest is when you get some rain and then you get some snow. Because what happens is then everything's covered with just the tiniest layer of ice, and it's so damn pretty. Like, the trees are all like, they've got a little layer of ice, and it's so cool. The beard! The beard! Yeah. Yeah, the YouTube emoji are really weird. Are Santa's shoes? No. I got all the Christmas stuff. Whoa, that was a leap. I've had some weird dreams because a lot of the time I have had multiple dreams that have the same location. Like, there's this one place in particular. Oh, an interesting approach. Huh. Neat. But anyway, so there's this one, like... There's this one place. It's never a nightmare. But it's wrong. It's like a big kind of almost shopping mall, but it's all foods. It's got like a concrete floor. I think some places of it might be tile though. But it's just got a ton of shops. But you can just kind of keep going. And like the more corners you go around, it keeps going. And the deeper I get, the less right it feels. Like sometimes sometimes there's water, so it'll be almost like I'm getting onto a boat, so I have to like step over some just like gap that has water under it. It's really weird and extremely interesting. And yeah, it's never a nightmare. And it's got this really clear, like, aesthetic. Feels almost like it's underground, like it's got, like, a subway. It's got, like, a subway / airport feel to it, you know? And there's another place... Oh, okay, I can remember that, but I just remembered this one. Okay, so... This one was a lot when I was a kid. And this one is basically a nightmare, but like a special anxiety nightmare. So what it is, so we're on a highway. And there's a road we have to go down, just because we have to. But part of it is, like, submerged. And so, like, you have to drive through it. And it always feels like it's just going to, like, stop. And it's just gonna, like, fall. But also sometimes... that it's another road. But we need, for some reason we need to take. But there's just a drop. Like, we just have to basically jump it. And that one's so much worse. Because the pit of my stomach falls out. Just feel weightless. Yeah. And it's always like on a slightly rainy day and overcast. Like the water one is an anxiety one. Kind of like sometimes when you go over a bridge where there's a lot of water underneath you, you just kind of think like, I'm gonna fall. But the jump one that is fear. And it always turns out fine. That's the thing, it always turns out fine. We always get to the other side. Chocolate herringbone wall? And the other location is just like this big shop slash like college almost. It just has all these really like, they'll have like a lot of old video game stuff. I think it's just really whatever I'm thinking of is there. And that one's just really interesting and kind of nice and welcoming. It feels like a bookstore. Oh yeah, I got all the bugs. But yeah, man, the car one is, but the shop one is so cool. Like, I'm like, with the one with the shop that just goes forever, like, I always somehow know, it's like an almost lucid dream. Like, I know it's happening. And, like, I know that I can get out of it if I want to. Like, if I think, it's something like, if I think hard enough about it, then I can get out of it. Oh, that's cool. The butterfly room is so pretty. Especially in the daytime, but it's nice and serene at night. Though speaking about your account, there has been some news that's come out about Nintendo and their thoughts on like modding and people trying to circumvent their stuff. And they did hire a private investigator to track a guy, which was wild. But also something that like other companies do all the time. So it's kind of universally crappy. Yeah. I mean, this was for the 3DS. But still, like, yeah. That's my thought. You might just want to ditch it. It's nothing. You're a good friend. And I don't say that lightly at all. I've had some people a lot earlier in my life that I guess I thought were friends, but weren't really. I only have like, I dropped something. No. I was just kind of like offhandedly spinning something, and it unscrewed and fell off in the middle of this emotional moment. But no, yeah. I don't have many friends, which I know sounds bad, but I choose it that way. And you're definitely one of them. But yeah, it was the thing at the end of the pop filter that like screws to something. Like you can kind of like clamp it, and so I was just kind of like turning the clamp. And then it just unscrewed all the way off and fell. Like, no. I guess now I can just wait for, like, a good run. I could get some snowflakes. And maybe hope I might be able to get 1 or 2 more festive recipes. Well, I guess more what I was going for is, like, self-deprecatory. Or however that's pronounced. Do I have KK Jazz? Yeah. Yes, I do have KK Jazz. Man, though, this Christmas Eve is nice. This one's also a really good one. This one's just a classic. What? No, no. There's also, this one, T. Lopes made a remix of that's super good. The same guy who did the music for Sonic Mania. Yeah! Yeah, let's look through them. They're so good. This one looks cool as hell. This one just gives me nostalgia for city folk. Hey, look, it's Bunny. And there's Bubblegum KK. DJ KK just looks trippy. Driving is some really good design. Farewell looks cute. I Love You is just really sweet. To be frank, it's not that great. Specifically because... Wait. This part of the song's really good. But because the villagers didn't have enough dialogue, like the dialogue would like reset if you left a building and came back. So it never felt like they were... But the city was really fun. And also the music there was a bop. It's the ba-da-da-da. And I think here it's coming. Because there's a part of it that goes like... Oh no! You could always set the time back. What? Lament is really good. What? Oh, you mean like Boxing Day? Well, I know it's called Boxing Day in Britain. We don't have that. We just have one. I mean, there's kind of Christmas Eve. Like, a lot of people have Christmas Eve parties and stuff. So you just... Oh. Christmas is just 2 days? I mean, obviously, like, there's the classic Christmas songs, like, the 12th day of Christmas, but, like, you just get... You just have to... Oh my god, that's cool! You just have 2. Wow! But here's the city folk. Oh, you know what's something I saw on Twitter? So this makes me angry. Apparently cashiers in other countries get to sit? Because at work in the corporate hellscape that's America, if you have time to sit, you gotta have time to be doing other things. And so, you don't get to sit down and, like, you know, relax, because it's work, and you gotta be doing things, otherwise what are we paying you for? Yeah. You're expected to stand because if you sit, it looks like you're just lazing around. Looks like you're not doing anything. I'm sorry, it's true. I have to do it. When I work at the cash register, I have to stand. Because there's the weird puritanical obsession with working. Like, there's something that I have learned recently that a lot more managers than I thought say, and it's, if you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. So, like, if you have time to, like, you would, like, want to sit down, well, you gotta be doing something. And keep in mind, we only get one 30-minute break for every 6 hours. Nope, that's not just movie thing, that's just America. Oh yeah, and of course, we don't get paid sick leave or maternity leave. No paid sick days. You're sick, you ain't getting paid. And so that's why a lot of people come into work sick. And end up, you know, spreading things like COVID. Some companies give you a certain amount. But if your coworker's sick, there was this one news network that had this stupid thing about, like, yeah, that's what happens when you have unfettered capitalism and a weird obsession with hard work and like, doing things on your own and accepting help is for the weak. And I don't want my tax dollars to help other people that aren't working as hard as I am, because I can definitely become a millionaire. Like, there's this one quote that I think sums it up really good, and it's that the majority of poor Americans do not see themselves as poor, but temporarily inconvenienced millionaires. And that really sums up the whole thing for me. Because it's the problem with telling everybody you can get rich if you just try hard enough. Because then all of a sudden, all those people at the McDonald's that normally you would treat like a human being, like a good person, because, you know, they're a person, and they deserve you deserve to be able to like, treat them like a human being. Oh no, they're poor, they didn't try hard enough, they're stuck at the McDonald's job that pays less than you can live on. Like, if you look at statistics, the minimum wage has increased way less than the cost of living. Minimum wage doesn't... One person with minimum wage cannot buy a house. You just can't do it. But a lot of people don't realize that, so you have a lot of older people saying, oh, you can just... Yeah. But it's just like, yeah, people are all like, oh... When it's like, you could be rich. You want to be rich because you want to be able to afford the things you want. You could do that if the minimum wage was actually, like, comparable to the cost of living. And some places, in some states, it's legal to pay people below minimum wage if they're, like, a waitress and they get tips. Which means you can, like, sometimes they'll be paid, like, $3 an hour, and the rest is their tips. Which, like, if you're a nice, attractive young woman who everyone's gonna want a tip, then whatever, you're probably making more money than anyone else would be. But also, like, what if you're not? And but you're still a good server, but, like, people don't tip because, oh, whatever, they didn't, like... They brought me my water with ice, and I didn't want ice. I didn't tell them. Yeah, bait UBI. But no. We could literally have... There are more houses than people. It would be so easy. Yeah, but no, because you have to work for it. Because it's not enough that you're a person. And a lot of people don't realize just how much that's changed, so when they see people, like, complaining, they're all like, oh, they're not even working hard, but no. Like, no. No, Uncle John. Like, I'm working harder than you ever did, and I'm making so much less. So shut up about you and your big house, and how if I just pull myself up by my bootstraps, then I'd be able to afford an apartment. And, like, not even a good apartment. But yeah, so cashiers have to stand. Sometimes even if you've, like, broken your foot. Yeah, it's because a lot of them just don't realize that, like, I didn't realize until today that everyone else got to stand. Because there's just so much American-made media. And nobody ever says anything until recently about how, like, everyone else has, like, good healthcare. And everything's constantly telling you, oh yeah, America's got the coolest stuff in the world. But it's just a lot of old people trying to tell you that, so that maybe you won't cotton on to the fact that we're kinda behind everyone else, and it's their fault. We already discussed this, yeah, it is. It's the worst. Nope, it's the Pledge of Allegiance. God, I can still do it from memory. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Every day at school. Now, you don't have to stand for it, you don't have to say it, I never did, but in some places, like, you know, some more southern places, they'll force you to, even though it's actually illegal. Now, something I really appreciate is my middle school, instead of always doing the Pledge of Allegiance, I think they might have done the Pledge of Allegiance, but like, instead of the Pledge of Allegiance, they actually made us recite, like, some of the Constitution, which was actually really helpful, because, like, now I have the First Amendment memorized, and, like, First Amendment is, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble, to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And, like, that's useful. That's useful information, and I appreciate that they drilled that into my head along with the Pledge of Allegiance, but still, you can't win them all. Yeah, I mean, like, the national anthem's, like, one thing, because, like, of course you played at ball games, and sports events, and whatever. But, like, some places, like, will make you, like, look at the flag, like, turn to the flag and put your hand on your heart while reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. And also, like, you know, a minor point, but it's also got, again, under God in it. And they actually added that in, like, the 60s. So you can't even say it's, like, a huge, like, tradition thing. Yeah, it's so weird. And then, like, those same people who, like, want the Pledge of Allegiance will, like, post videos online about, like, yo, look at China. They're, like, teaching, like, team exercises in their gyms or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I guess once you get to college, like, once you stop having, like, you know, periods and breaks, then that doesn't really happen. Once, like, time stops being, like, so... you know, regulated. Okay, that one's... First of all, he says he's religious. Second of all, what you're supposed to do is just basically swear on anything. It doesn't actually have to be a Bible. And there's actually a really good thing where some punk gets owned because he doesn't realize that it doesn't have to be a Bible. Nope, you just basically have to put your hand on something and say the oath of office. It doesn't have to be a Bible. It's almost always a Bible. Because a lot of presidents are Christian. But it doesn't... It could be a Quran. Let me see if I mean, I do... It'd be really funny if it was a pizza. But let me check, Oath of office. Yeah, by convention. George Washington took the oath of office with a Bible. John Quincy Adams swore on a book of law with the intention that he was swearing on the Constitution. Teddy Roosevelt didn't use a Bible. Some people say "so help me God" in the oath of office, but not always. But you don't, like, have to. But yeah, so some guy got absolutely pwned. Yeah, it doesn't look like you actually have to formally swear on anything. Technically, you just have to recite the oath. But anyway, so this guy gets absolutely pwned because he's like, oh, how can any of those Muslims, they can't be the president. Because, like, what are you gonna do when you have to swear on the Bible? And the guy who's, like, interviewing him is like, it doesn't have to be a Bible. And he's like, what? And, like, you can see, like, his brain, like, making the, like, Windows XP shutdown noise, just... And then, like, the like, AOL dial-up, just, like... It's like, something like 20 seconds of silence, and it's incredible. It's so... I'm gonna find the clip. I'll Twitter DM it to you. Also, as a spokesman for a guy called... whose name was Roy Moore? And he was somebody who thankfully didn't get elected because he was literally a pedophile. And luckily he didn't get elected. Most Republicans didn't, like, even bother. Though, also speaking of videos, there's this guy called H. Bomber Guy who does some really good video essays that I think you would also probably like. And I'm sending you the one he made on the war on Christmas, which is this fake thing that people made up that, like, oh, they're making us say Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. They're trying to destroy Christianity. And that's a fringe thing, but it's very interesting. But yeah, I sent you the video of the guy getting absolutely destroyed on live television, and it's so good. Isn't it so good? I know! Do-do-do-do. It's like, you know it doesn't have to be a Bible, right? It could be anything. But yeah, the guy I was talking about, he also has done videos on, like, flat Earth and climate change denial. And they're really good. Like, I highly recommend them. As in, like, I showed the one on the war on Christmas to my dad, and he thought it was great. Now, if you missed what I was saying, the war on Christmas is a fake thing that some conservatives just made up one day. That was that, oh, places are saying Happy Holidays now instead of Merry Christmas. So they don't want us to say Merry Christmas anymore. My religion is under attack. Which, of course, is absolutely ridiculous. But the guy takes a deep dive into it, and it's really interesting. Yeah, this is not one of those American things. This is just something that, like, a very fringe amount think is an issue. He also did one on flat eartherism, and one on climate change denial, one on when Bill Nye decided to talk about gender expression and people turned their back on him because, like, he dared to bow to quote-unquote political correctness. Now, Bill Nye... So the US education system is often absolutely horrible, but Bill Nye is a national hero. He was an engineer. No, yeah, it's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. But this is more the funny, like, look at those idiots kind of thing. But anyway. So Bill Nye is a hero. What he did was, he had this show on, like, Disney or whatever, that he would teach kids about science. He was Bill Nye, the science guy. And so the teacher would come in and put in a VHS type tape. And he was just this goofy guy who taught you about science, and he had cute skits. And then like after that and like the show had already like ended by the time like we would be watching these tapes. But he's just this really cool old guy. No! No. Why do you like Bill Nye the Science Guy? Alright. I mean, like, obviously the show was, like, super corny. Well, I mean, that is a bit disappointing. But, like... Science and philosophy often do Well, yeah, then that's on Bill Nye. And I'll agree that is not... But, like, what I remember Bill Nye as is this goofy guy who taught us about science when the teacher didn't want to. And a lot of what he does now is he's had, like, lots of debates with, like, creationists and stuff like that. And he did this famous thing recently where, like, about global warming, where he just, like, yeah, like, I also recommend, like, that thing about, like, Bill Nye versus pseudoscience. We're talking about, like, how people tried to dunk on his show just because he said, like, gender is on a spectrum. But yeah, like, but, like, the thing he did recently was he, like, had, like, a thing where, like, he was like, some people are, like, saying that, like, oh, climate change isn't a big deal. And then Bill Nye takes a flamethrower to this globe, and he's like, no, you fucking idiot! The world's on fucking fire! And it's so effective just to see this wacky guy who liked to make puns that even the narrator would groan about on his own show just say, no, you fucking idiot, the world's on fucking fire. And it's absolutely incredible. It's such a good bit. Oh yeah, I found an article about his philosophy interview. And yeah, they used the phrase that made the entire American philosophy, like, community, like, choke on their coffee. Oh. Okay, I have something to send you. Because I looked a bit into it, and, Bill Nye read Bill Nye read what people said about him. In follow-up article written last month, blah 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 says, Nye told her over the phone, "Thank you for writing that critical article. It really led to something." After he reevaluated his position and started reading philosophy, he quote-unquote couldn't sleep for months. Yeah! That's my bill. That's my bill. That's the bill I know. Top 10 anime redemption arcs. Number 1. Number 1 may surprise you, because it's Bill Nye, the Science Guy. But yeah, like, the guy whose video SASN, H-Bomber guy, his classic moment is from his climate denial video, where he cuts to this one conservative guy who basically likes to talk really fast and pretend that makes him right. His name is Ben Shapiro. And anyway, so what Ben Shapiro said is, alright, so, let's say that, hypothetically, that all of this is true, and that global warming is real, and that the water levels rise, and homes are going to be flooded. You really expect me to believe that people aren't just going to sell their houses and move? And then you see a wall. An axe bursts through the wall. It keeps doing this. There's now a sizable hole in the wall. H-Bomber guy pops his head through and says the legendary line, "There's just one small problem, Ben. Sell the houses to who? Fucking Aquaman?" And now, so of course, whenever Ben Shapiro says anything about global warming, people just post that. It's so good. So yeah, I really recommend his videos. They're titled, the ones I'm specifically talking about, they're called A Measured Response. Well, I mean, it's not about Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, come to think of it, only comes up once in the climate change video. And it's just that clip. Because it's not pleasant to listen to him, to be brutally honest. His voice is annoying. But anyway, I think I'm going to have to call it now for today. It was really nice talking with y'all, and, yeah, Merry Christmas.